Hey there, this is Derek from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at a Land Cruiser 80 series. This one here is automatic transmission, 236,000 kilometers. It was bought from auction here in Japan for export over to the USA. And we'll take a look at the car and compare it to the auction sheet prior to export. Condition of this one's pretty good. It is a lifted Land Cruiser. It is mega cool. I'm going to switch the engine off. I just want to show you this though. The exhaust is a little bit smoky. It's okay for a diesel to be a little bit smoky like this one is. It usually means it's in need of some fuel conditioner and cleaned out fuel system. It doesn't smell like coolant, it smells exclusively like diesel fuel. Okay, switch that off for a sec. We'll check the rest of the car with the engine off. Okay, it's a 1HDT engine. 1HDFT engine. So this is a single cam, 24 valve, inline 6-cylinder diesel engine with a turbo. It puts out, I believe, somewhere in the range of 180 horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot, but these are built very strong engines. They are reliable, they are torquey, and 18.5, I think, compression ratio. It's a cool engine. Timing belt was changed at 185,000 kilometers in 2016. Everything in here is stock. It's a double battery with a 120 and a 120. And they are, I believe that they are in parallel. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Do watch out for the coolant of these. I have seen a lot of head gaskets blow on them, but I think that the reason why is because people think Land Cruisers will last forever, and so some people are going to forget to maintain them. Okay, as you can see, it's been lifted. It's quite a large lift and quite a bit larger tires. Land Cruisers, they look good lifted no matter what version of the Land Cruiser. The 80 series, I think, looks way better when it's lifted compared to the standard version, especially like the GX model. That's a little bit lower, smaller wheels, a little bit lower suspension. So they have aftermarket springs, Rancho shocks, I believe a Rancho 9000 shock. I'm not 100% sure on that. Also aftermarket trailing arms as well for the suspension, because it's lifted enough that you're going to need those to be aftermarket. And then it is, I believe, an original adjustable Panhard bar is on it. And then look at that, aftermarket exhaust. Generally speaking, we don't really have any rust. There is a little bit of surface stuff, but for this age of Land Cruiser, very close to rustless. This is the auction inspection sheet. I'll go ahead and translate this for you now. So, and I'll do this quickly. 1995 Land Cruiser VX. The VX is the turbo model, 4.2 liter engine, obviously 4-wheel drive. What's really cool about this, of all the sales points here, they're missing kind of the most important one that they really should have written here, and it's not there. It says lift up, sunroof, aftermarket 16-inch wheels, which happen to be Mickey Thompson's. Aftermarket exhaust, aftermarket steering wheel, and then if you're the seller, it's time to start crying, because you could have gotten extra $2,000 for this if you had noted this. So these have optional diff locks for the center, rear, and front, and they come as options. You can get the Land Cruiser with just the locking center, or not even a locking center. And then you can get it with an optional rear locker, and then you can get it with an optional front and rear locker. That's the good one. That's the one everybody wants. And yes, it is a real one. I know there's some guy on the internet who might be an idiot. He said that some people just put those switches in to pretend. I have never seen it. But in case you're wondering, you get two little red lights there that for your diff locks. And you won't be able to fake that. Okay. Go back to the auction inspection sheet here. And yeah, the diff lockers, in case you're unaware of what that does, it means that your tires can no longer rotate at a different speed. So usually when you're driving, say you're turning a corner and you're going this way, then the one over here is going to spin less than the one over here, which is great for driving on the road. If you're driving off-road, you need as much grip as you can with no slip in the tires. If you have them locked together, this gives you the maximum amount of climbing ability, or getting out of mud ability, or getting through snow ability. And having that on both the rear and the front is every 4x4 guy's dream, because you're not getting stuck. Especially with these, I think, 35 tire? It's a 315/75 R16. Is that a 35? maybe. Okay, 236, 393 kilometers. It is authentic mileage. It seems a little bit high, but for a Land Cruiser, not really. And I would be very proud to have a Land Cruiser with extremely high mileage. I would want to get one that is a very good condition truck, kind of like this one, with maybe 450,000 kilometers on it, and see if I can get like a high score for mileage. And then you can write it on your license plate. 500,000 miles or kilometers. 600,000 would be very cool. Here it says oil leak. You can see it's highlighted there. There's a little bit in and around the turbo, a little bit around the valve cover, but there's more in the pan gasket. I don't think it's a rear main seal. Let me just show you. And nice that it's lifted, makes it really easy to lay down on the ground and get this. So there's the pan gasket. You can see that it's seeping, but then it's accumulated back here and maybe dripping. Now, if it is a rear main seal, it will leak through there, but I think what's happening is it's just coming down there and coming to the center where it's dripping. Of course, a mechanic can check that out for you if you want. And yes, I believe this one should be repaired before shipping, because if you try to ship the car and it has an oil leak, they might deny it because the carrier, like the carrier company, doesn't want to have oil inside their vessel. And so I'd say probably 90% of the time you don't need to fix an oil leak that's mentioned on the auction sheet before shipping. I think this one is kind of somewhere in the middle there. In Japanese, we call that giri giri, like just barely. So maybe yes, maybe no, but it's better maybe not to take that chance. It also says underside has some surface rust. You may have seen it in the back already. Headlights are aftermarket, and so are tail lights. Driver's seat has a cover on it that's been ripped, various scratches and dents, windshield rock chip, interior cigarette burn. Let's have a look for that, because I did not find it. This might be it right here. This is the common place for cigarette burns, and maybe here as well. I don't know, those both look too small. The other common places are down here, which this one looks okay. The seat, which you can't see because it's underneath the seat cover. Nothing in there, nothing around there. Okay, well, I can't find the cigarette burn. I can find screw holes in the top of the Holy Smokes bar. And it doesn't smell like cigarettes inside, which is a little bit weird because it is a Land Cruiser. 80% plus of Land Cruiser drivers here in Japan are smokers, I believe. At least older ones. The newer ones, maybe not so much. Speaking of new ones, I really want a 300 series. It's the car I want the most at the moment. Interior dirty. Paint peeling on an over fender. Some scratches over here, which are really not so much scratches, but more like little weird paint squiggly things. And that's why I said it's not completely rust free, because it might actually be a little bit rust underneath. Let me show you that right now. Look right here. So there's that. There's more of it right here above my fingers. And I might have some trouble focusing on it. You got more in this area here, like there's one here and some more here. And then one here. So it might just be like bad paint, like they tried to repaint it and they didn't prep it properly. But like these ones up here kind of have a squiggly look, like it's actually growing. So I don't know. May need to have these. It's only on these two doors. May need to have those doors repaired. You look down here, this is a very common place for them to rust. I don't see any signs of repair marks done, so I don't think that there has been any rust that needed to be fixed on this, which is great. The 80 series is just entering that age where it's starting to get hard to find rust-free ones, so very nice. And then it says paint peeling on the front bumper. And molding is coming off. So you may have noticed on this side here, it's missing the side molding right there. It actually came inside the car, and I have been a little bit sneaky in hiding it underneath here so that it can just chip in the car. Yeah, we could probably get it attached to here, but as you can see, someone's tried to attach it before and it's come off repeatedly. It actually has a couple of screw holes in it because I think people are trying to screw it into the door somehow. Anyways, I'll leave that for you to handle. We are 10 minutes, 10 minutes in already, and I've barely shown you the car. Yikes. Okay, so here is the Walkaround. Land Cruiser is everybody's favorite dependable vehicle. You want something for when the zombies come, you're going to want a Land Cruiser because they're not going to break down, especially one with those front and rear locking differentials. I don't think there's a better color than white for these, and you may notice these bumpers are aftermarket but made to look like OEM ones. More on those in just a second. Aftermarket taillights, aftermarket headlights, you probably saw. And we'll go and take a look at all of the defects in just a second. There really aren't that many. It's too big to fit in frame here, so I'll just walk into this bush here. Okay. And walk out. Complete with spiders on me now. Actually, the spiders have gone for the year, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I have come out of that bush with spiders before. It's a hazard of the job, I suppose. Okay, details here. So, frame and body all feel like they line up really well. You got a nice little mirror here, but it has paint fade on it. Now, the purpose of the mirror is to show you your side here. It'll give you a good view of what trees you're not going to be hitting. These lights are aftermarket. Usually they have fluting on them. These ones have been changed over to a clear lens. They look nice. I kind of prefer the look of the original ones, but once something turns classic, it gets hard to find original parts. And then that's when the original parts start to look better than the aftermarket parts. I'm pointing out here that the chrome around it has been painted black and the black is peeling. There's also fade on the chrome grille here. A little bit of fade on the black. That's been repainted actually. Okay. I have a little bit of touch-up paint in here. Maybe they were touching up a little bit of rust that was just starting to form. Okay, these bumpers are not original. They're made out of fiberglass instead of the regular metal. So I guess a little bit lighter, but that's not going to be as strong as a bumper should be. And that metallic sound that you heard, that's these chicken wire that's in there. Okay, I believe the over fenders are original, but they could be aftermarket. I actually don't believe they're aftermarket. They don't line up exactly anymore. There's usually a mud flap that goes here, and on the rear there's a mud flap that integrates it into the rear bumper, but because it has a slimmer style rear bumper, it no longer fully lines up there. Side panel here is looking good. Paint condition is good, really no scratches or dents to talk about. I just noticed something, I'll point it out. Okay, so that's basically looking good. We got a bit of peeling paint here, or paint blemish, I guess you would call it. And then some other marks here, like it used to have different size over fenders on it. I think it's only on this side. The thing I just noticed, and good thing I'm as tall as I am, at a huge 5'10", I could notice there's a little bit of rust up here. And I'm holding my camera higher than my face is at the moment. Here's my face height. So most people won't be able to really see that all that much. Okay, the peeling on the over fender here, as was mentioned, it is true. Okay, the back bumper has some scratches on the corner here and some flex cracks from bumping it. Now it's kind of nice to see that there are flex cracks on this. That means that whatever material that it's made out of, the same as the front, can flex a little bit before it cracks. Okay, big dual exhaust, looks awesome. All right, and provisions to put a hook in here if you want to. There's also a dent in that mirror, aftermarket mirror thing. I think this section here, sans mirror, is the original piece, the original aluminum, and then you just insert these bumper pieces to make it the slim style bumper that they went for. Okay, the aftermarket taillights are good looking, but they're a little bit lower quality than the original. This one is the tailgate version. You can get them in tailgate or sideways opening doors. The higher end models got the tailgate. And shame on Toyota for getting rid of the tailgate for the 300 series. They had it from 40 series. 40 series had them. I think the 50 series did. Definitely 60, 80, not 70. 100 had them, 200 had them, and then the 300, they're like, nope. And the reason why it's okay that the 70 doesn't have them is because the 70 is the utilitarian version, not the comfort version like the 80, 100, 200, and 300. tisk tisk is all I have to say. Also, if you're going to install a plate in it, it's a little bit annoying because these are not actually able to receive screws. There were nuts on the other side of that, which is a touch annoying because I had to pop this off, and then there's a plate here I had to unscrew in order to get the plate off. So you'll have to reverse do that to put a plate back on. Okay, no hiding rust in here. That's good. A little bit of staining there. Generally not very scratched side panels. These tend to scratch fairly easily. You can see some scratches on them, but it's not so bad. And seat covers for all the seats, which is nice to see. Headliner has marks from being washed before, probably to get some of the cigarette color out. And then there's a little bit of new cigarette color that's been added. Then some sort of like extra lamp there, aftermarket lamp I'm showing you. Close the bottom one first. Close the top one. It's funny to see this. Look at how dark that is. That should have been white. It just needs to be cleaned. Wow. Okay, we got some more damage there. Not much to talk about. Heading down here, we have some kind of bad paint marks on this one, as well as on the front one. Okay, there's water inside the aftermarket repeaters there. Into the car. Okay, speakers have been cut into these, leaving holes. You can fill them with speakers, you'll be fine. Kind of weird to have a speaker right behind a shelf piece, but whatever. You'll get the low frequencies and the bounce of the high frequencies. And then this is like wrinkly a bit. Also, your chrome here is peeling a touch. Not a big one. Floor mat, pretty normal, pretty good condition. You got a rip here in the seat, and as you can see, a little bit of sag in the seat underneath if you poke your face in there. Okay, I'm not hugely into seat covers, but I like the fact that other people are, because it preserves the nice seat underneath. Steering wheel should probably be changed. It's an aftermarket Nardi unit. Originally, these are great steering wheels, but this one's old. You can probably see quite a bit of peeling over here, which doesn't look good, but even worse is the top is all peeling and sharp. You might get splinters from it, and you can definitely feel it every time you're grabbing onto a steering wheel. And a good steering wheel makes a big difference in a car too. It'll feel better while you're driving it. Okay, that's all pretty normal. This is all pretty normal. You can push this and get a cup holder, and it works. Aftermarket Navi unit should probably be changed because you can't use it outside of Japan. Regular AC, the AC works. That's good. I actually don't know if this one has center diff locks, because you can get one with just the center. And I think this one here actuates it, but it might just turn it into four-wheel drive without actually locking the center differential. Might have an open center diff. Mystery. Someone out there knows. Okay, this one here, high and low gear ratios. The low gear ratio for climbing gives you a little bit more power, but then destroys your top end, so you can't really use it unless you're 4x4ing. You get what could be considered a cup holder there. Heated seats, not sure how well they work through the seat covers, but they are there. 2 places to open. This video is getting too long, but it is a Land Cruiser, and everyone knows how good Land Cruisers are. A little bit of peeling on there. How old is this? 27 years old? What was I doing 27 years ago? I was still in high school. Okay, places. Oh, right. Yeah, surprise! Your car comes with monitors that look like they also came from like the year 2004 or something. Look, TFT LCD color monitor. TFT was the big thing, like, I don't know how many years ago. Okay. I'm not even sure if those are plugged into anything anymore. Perfect. Do-it-yourself cup holder or fire extinguisher carrier. These seats here, no problem at all. You get your own individual armrests, which are a little bit harder to pull out because of the seat cover on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The diesels, I don't know why, but the diesels got 5 seats when the gasoline's got 7. although the back seats are really nothing to write home about. Okay, I think that we are done here. Land Cruiser, one of the best, maybe the best vehicle that Toyota has made. Made even better with a little bit of a lift, and then wait 25 to 30 years. Every Land Cruiser does it. 25 to 30 years later, everyone's like, ooh, I want one of those. Okay, as usual, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.